Good morning and welcome to this morning's service. My name is Yamaguchi and I'll be your service chairperson for this morning. We will begin this morning with the tolling of the Kansho, followed by the chanting of Juseige.
Kansho!
We will continue this morning's service with the golden chain, which is on page 6 of the brown service book. I am a being and made this golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my faith bright and strong. I'll be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May everything that made this golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Our Gatha this morning will be Children in Japan, which is on page 34 of the brown service book. Please rise. Kory will now lead us in the reading of Sankhya 1 and 3 treasures.
Sankhya 1人参うぐぐたし今するにうぐ文法聞くぐたし今するに聞くこの身根性に向かって路せ順ばさらにいずれの章に向かってかこの平等線大衆者ともに指針に参謀に家し立て祭るべしいずるから仏に家し立て祭る朝に願わくは書とともに愛の大熱心無料仏さんいずるから法に家し立て祭る 本し従事することであり、願わくは如来の真実義を決し立て祭らん。The three treasures. Hard is to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult it is to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is it that we shall be free from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I put my faith in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves and awaken in ourselves thy supreme will. I put my faith in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I put my faith in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in thy life of harmony, in the spirit of universal family, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Namo Amida Butsu.
We'll now have our Dharma message this morning by Reverend Kory.
Kansho. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is it that we shall be free from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Kathy, you slipped in. Good morning. I heard a higher voice. That's all I'm like. This month begins our societal. Is it societal or is it world month of giving? I don't know. We always say this is I don't know where did that come from? I'll have to look it up one of these days. Or I say that and it'll bother me for a while. But they've been saying for a while now that this is the month of giving. November. Happy November, everyone. My only thing is that it's and I guess for our
least as growing up in this sect of Buddhism, is to really understand your true self, right? And so, understanding why you give, or if and then you do the act, is probably more important than the giving itself, right? I was mentioning in the 25-year memorial service for Miss Amy Fuji yesterday that, and this has been coming up in my head, is that do people remember when you would write? Well, Miss Nori gave a special donation. They gave special donation for birthdays, right? Anniversaries, memorials, of course, birth of a child. I remember good grades. Sometimes it was good grades, or something that a great achievement. And we would list, the only way we would know these people were donating this way was because they would be in the newsletter. Does anyone remember reading those? Right? I don't know if that happens because I don't even see I'll be honest, I don't see those donations. But those are important. Those offerings, those individual, small, but huge in meaning offerings are important. And sometimes they're not so small, to be honest. It's just like, but to do something is important. Because it makes us take our steps out of our everyday lives and reflect on who we are in this moment, what our lives have accumulated to, not because of what we have done in our lives, or not just because of what we have done, but what has made us into the person we are at that moment. I shared, I don't know how many of us would say, I don't know if I would have a family if it wasn't for being able to come to the temple. I wouldn't have certain friends if I wasn't able to come to the temple. I shared with the Tuesday group, this is where this all comes from too, congratulations to the Dodgers. And even though we had nothing to do with it, the Dodger Nation is truly, I actually have it on video. I just happened to be taking a video of, I didn't even know what was going on, to be honest. We were at Winapalooza last night. I'm taking video of Winapalooza, and that's when the game ends. I think it was because I couldn't find T's, because the reason why was Joan wasn't even paying. She it's not because she didn't want to pay attention. It just happened every time she paid attention that something bad happened to the Dodgers. That's what we're talking about, right? When that was happening, and then I started pulled out my phone and showed that the patient Buddha-like Dharma Abasanics sat up in front. I didn't realize until afterwards. Gee, someone should have got them put them down at a table instead of put them up on the stage for 2 hours, and then to look down at the group rather than enjoy the game with everyone else. But these are amazing experiences. As I said, I was talking on the Tuesday morning video, or not. There were people. Sandy was here, right? She's the only one here in person because she had to run the camera. But and then there were two on Zoom. I realized in the last couple weeks when we're watching this last series how interesting it was. I didn't know what the customs were or etiquette was for watching games. And I realized I spend too much time at the temple. I never watched games with people my own age. Or anyone other than family. And my family's not into watching sports all that seriously. interesting. But
Sensei, there's no such thing as spending too much time at the temple.
okay, well, it's one thing too. So my example was is that so they're watching the game downstairs on like last Friday or last Saturday, especially last Friday because Dodgers were actually losing, and it was very tense, and I was just doing temple stuff. So I would walk across the television during the game, forgetting that the TV was there. Yeah. And the people that were watching were very kind because it could have been, I've heard stories. This is the value of us getting together. When we talk about, when I started this, I took the 2 sentences from the 3 treasures, right? If hard is to be born, for one. How often do the teachings change our mind so that we can be appreciative even when it's hard, even when it's difficult, even when we feel like there might not be another moment after that. Or we look to others and say, gee, this is interesting that I don't understand these traditions at all, or what's going on. After the weekend with Friday, Saturday, and these moments, I would have never understood why Bill Yamane would leave the room yesterday, right? After the 7th inning, Bill Yamane would walk outside while the Dodgers were up because he felt like he was jinxing it. Or that's when they hit the home run. He was outside, and so he couldn't be inside anymore. I would have been like, why is he going out there? Again, if we reverse it though, if we think about the 3 treasures itself, it's not that we are more Buddha-like, right? When it talks about I put my faith in Buddha and may we all together absorb ourselves, the principle of that way to enlightenment and awaken ourselves, there's like supreme will. It's not we're Buddhas and we're doing good things. Even though this is the month of giving, and what wonderful Cub Scouts we have to be able to do our Dana deliveries for us today, right now, while I'm speaking, or the Girl Scouts doing all of their things. They're collecting hygiene kits, by the way, so I hope you're thinking about that. Right? It's how the teachings change our mind to say we're not Buddha-like. We're absorbing the Buddha's influence for the aspiration of our future awakening, our future enlightenment, or how we use the teachings. If you just say, if delivering ourselves, just like I said, if we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be free from suffering, sorrow, and the ocean of birth and death. If we don't actively think about the teachings or these things, how are we supposed to submerge ourselves in the doctrine and use them? How are we supposed to relate to the Sangha, this universal hood? We're all suffering beings. And these things, this month reminds me the story of the ox and the cart. Right? Okay. This maybe 15 years, 12 years ago? 12 years ago, I gave the teaching of the Buddha book to this person at Gardena, because I was a minister assistant, and we were talking, and I gave it to them. And they came back and they said, wow, this book's amazing. Right? You all have this book, right? This orange book. She came back and said, this book's amazing. And she saw explicitly like the story of the ox and the cart. So there's an ox pulling a cart. And every so far, a stone gets put into the back of the ox's cart. And then another stone. And then another stone. And then another stone. And so on and so on. And it gets to be, yes, the ox is strong. So initially, no problem. But as time goes on, or the distance goes farther, we know what happens to the ox. It's barely moving forward. It's tired. It's struggling. And even to the point where the cart just doesn't move anymore. That's an amazing cart to be able to hold that much rocks versus ox. But she was so excited because of the story. Because the story isn't just about an ox, a cart, and rocks. On the basic level of the teachings, it's teaching us that we are the ox. And the things that go, our life is the cart, what we perceive as our life anyways. And then everything that we accumulate in our life, mental attachments, physical attachments, all of those things, in this moment, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Even I say so-called Dodger Nate doesn't, to be honest, doesn't matter, right? But we really feel like we have a connection. We have joy. And the last a month, I've watched more sports than I have in 10 years. Cumulatively, probably. Cumulatively. See? And I apologize for that. I don't have the patience and endurance for those things most of the time. I did it because of peer pressure, I guess. It's true. If people did come to the temple to watch the games, I would not have watched them. The only time I watched them before was like Halloween in October, was Halloween party when the World Series was on and people were trying to watch the game or something like that.
We had good times.
That's right. Yes. It's okay. How do we envision ourselves as pursuing Buddhahood? Turning it around and saying, I'm so grateful for the efforts of those around that I'm able to enjoy it. And even taking joy in the games themselves, isn't that human suffering? It's enjoyable though, because we're humans. But it's human suffering. That's what this is all trying to teach us. Yeah, we're the ox. We don't have to pull the cart at all. We choose to pull the cart. And even when we empty the cart, we choose to fill it back up again. Because we always say, some of us say, oh, that was a past life. That was so long ago. Doesn't have much meaning. Every day is a past life. Every moment is a past life. How much do we carry over from moment to moment to moment? How can we be appreciative of the teachings that are so simple that we just say, even in the three treasures, it's so simple, and yet we're still entangled. Nembutsu washes it all away. Nembutsu awakens us to our true self. Nembutsu. Even if you don't believe traditionally, what? Think about those benefits that we're just getting in this moment through this simple teaching. take refuge, or I put my faith in Amida Buddha, and honestly see myself for I truly am, and all those that are still supporting Kairi. So as we do this November month of giving, if you understand a story, there should be almost no limit to the appreciation we have, and there should be no limit to what we are given to our ability to do good in the world. Knowing that it's for our appreciation to pay it forward, versus I'm better by giving. No. Well, hopefully, right? But in our tradition, it's the other way. I have appreciation for all of these acts, these wonderful things that have happened to me in my life, and so, arigato, thank you very much. What can I do to for those that really need it, not for myself that just really wants it. So again, hard is it to be born into human life, now we're living it. We've already accomplished that. But if we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is that we shall be free from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Because if we don't awaken ourselves and see what's truly going on, how can we really have appreciation for the Buddha's vow, the Buddha's efforts that have come before us, the change in our mindset that awakens us to life is truly wonderful just by being alive, and then going forward with that light in our hearts and the ability to share it. So with that, if you please join me in Kansho. Even through ages and myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida-butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida-butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo.
You're lucky. I had this crazy notion that we should sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" just for fun, as an attachment exercise, and then Butsu afterwards. But maybe another time. I lost my
I'm being stretch. Thank you, Sensei, for your message. Reverend Kory will now lead us in the reading of the Paramitas and sex training those, which are on the page 4 and 5 of the Brown Source. Please rise.
Roku Haramitsu. 御仏様の御心に立ち返らせていただいて、一つ今日一律、清らかな眼、温かいな酒、つつましやかな対応で繰りしましょう。一つ今日一律、穴を立てますまい。一つ今日一律、不平不足嘘を申しますまい。一つ今日一律、私の仕事に全身全力をかけて尽くさせていただきましょう。一つ今日一律、夜昼常に私のこの色気の本を喜ばせていただきましょう。一つ今日一律、南無阿弥陀仏を唱えさせていただきましょう。 turning our thoughts to the Buddha, let us throughout the day live with clear eyes, warm hearts, and humble attitude. Let us throughout the day not become angry. Let us throughout the day not utter words of discontent, dissatisfaction, and untruth. Let us throughout the day do our daily work with all our power. Let us throughout the day rejoice in the love and compassion of the Buddha, who is constantly watching over us day and night. Let us throughout the day repeat the holy name, Namo Amida. Promise, the Buddha is our eternal Father and Mother. The Buddha always keeps watch over us. We promise to listen to the teachings of the Buddha and perfect ourselves by following the Buddha's ideals. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Are there any announcements at this time?
Morning, everyone. So a lot of events coming up. Next Sunday is our special Veterans Day service at 10 o'clock. And so hopefully we will honor all our veterans. Hopefully you can join us for that. On November 15th is a steak feast and bingo night. They are still accepting orders if you haven't ordered yours at your state. And the day after that is our 8-10 service, where we would honor people that passed on. Also, we have order forms for Mochitsuki downstairs and for Project Bongo. And I think that's it. Thank you. Hasuki.
Oh, yeah.
Are we doing orders?
I talked to Ron. He said it's due. Yeah, the Pasadena is having a Komo sale, so look for more information coming up on that.
One addition for the steak feast, we do have trout available also. So we have 7 or 8. If you're Banquet, Utah, so the Utah fish.
The biggest trout.
They're about so smart pound and a half. That size. Something else. Can't remember. Okay. Conclude this morning's service with the Gatha Sayonara and the reading of the Benediction. Sayonara is on page 62 of the round service. We surround all people and all forms of life with infinite love and compassion. Particularly do we send forth loving thoughts to those in suffering and sorrow, to all those endowed in ignorance, and to those whose feet are standing close to the great change we call death. We send forth oceans of wisdom, mercy, and love. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 I'll thank everyone for attending this morning's morning service, you're welcome to stay for a study class led by Reverend, she's not Reverend, Richard Adiono. Refreshments will be served downstairs following the study class. Thank you.
Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, another terrific Dharma talk by Reverend Kory this morning. I thought it was really, there's so many themes to expound on in that. So I'll pick just a couple. One is generosity. He talked about November as the beginning of gift giving. And I think that its origins as gift giving in November is a European phenomena that was spread to the U.S. because the U.S. was settled by Europeans. And this does not imply that other civilizations don't have gift giving, but they started at a different time of year. So ours happens to be in the late autumn, due to cultural factors in Europe. So that is the beginning of that. But in terms of Buddhism and Shin Buddhism, there is when we talk about the 6 paramitas, one of the paramitas is Dana Paramita. Dana means generosity, and Paramita means perfection. So it's the perfection of generosity. And this perfection of generosity is something that bodhisattvas do. And according to the teachings of Jodo Shinshu, we are all bodhisattvas right now. Because we are bodhisattvas of the 10th level even. There are degrees of bodhisattvahood. We are at the 10th degree because we are going to become Buddhas at the time of our death. So, in terms of the doctrine of the bodhisattva, you have to go through all of these processes, and you reach the 10th degree, which is right before Buddhahood. And of course, all of these processes were done for us by Amida Buddha when he was a bodhisattva. And the merit of that was transferred to us, so that's why we are all 10th degree bodhisattvas. But Dana was a perfection of generosity, and that means that you give without expecting a reward. If somebody wants something from you and you have it, you give it to them. And even if it's your last drop of water, there are all kinds of stories about that, folk stories. And there's a really good folk story about Shakyamuni Buddha. When I say folk stories, these are not doctrinal, authoritative, from authoritative texts. There's a sort of like a folk tradition about any given religion that illustrates it for people. So in this case, Shakyamuni Buddha was begging food for a village that had suffered a bad harvest. And he encountered a Brahmin. A Brahmin was the highest caste Indian of that time, still, I guess. He offered his bowl to the Brahmin, and the Brahmin looked at it and slapped him in the face. And Shakyamuni said, "That was for me. Now what have you got for the poor?" So he took no offense. He accepted that slap in the face. And of course the Brahmin walked away. But that is the perfection of generosity. And we give what we can, depending on our circumstances. We in this respect, we are still, even though we are 10th degree bodhisattvas, we're still foolish beings of blind passions. And we're not going to give everything away. I mean, if somebody asked for this mala that I carry with me, I wouldn't give it to myself. I'll find another one for you. I want to keep this one for myself because I'm attached to it. I can't complain. I can't say that I have non-attachment like a bodhisattva does. But if somebody wanted a mala, I'd find one for them, but I wouldn't give them my own. I mean, even if I had to buy another one, but it's because I like this mala. I've carried it with me so long. And, same thing with other things. But, we give what we can. And at the same time, it's also an opportunity to reflect on, Reverend Kory talked about how we are seen, how we see ourselves, and this gives us a chance to reflect on our generosity. In fact, I remember many years ago when I was first encountering Jodo Shinshu from Reverend Imamura when I was a student at the University of Hawaii, and he made this really interesting observation. He said, there's how you see yourself, how others see you, and how the Buddha sees you. And of course, the Buddha sees you as you really are. And the fact that Amida Buddha sees you as you really are and still accepts you with all of your flaws. And let's be honest, if the way we see ourselves, we would prefer to see ourselves in the best light possible. Although, normally, the average non-sociopathic person, let's put it that way, knows when they've done something wrong and regrets it and feels regret, or knows that they are not doing the best job that they could, and they vow to do better. That's the way we see ourselves. And how others see us, they see a fraction of our lives. They don't see us all the time. If your family, the people that you see every day, they see you in all of your modes, so to speak. They see you at your best and at your worst. They see you happy and sad, healthy and sick, etc. So that is how other people see us. But the Buddha sees us in our totality. We see ourselves with a partial accuracy. Other people see us with a less complete accuracy. There's a story. My uncle Frank was in the Navy. He was in the Seabees, and which is the construction battalion, and he was on a ship, and they said that he had to cut a bulkhead, so he had an acetylene torch, and he had to chalk it out, which was like an arch. So he was preparing to cut this bulkhead, and an officer stopped and was observing him. So Frank put the chalk on the metal and started to draw the arch, and then the ship rolled, and he drew by accident a perfect arch. And the officer looked at him and was impressed and said, "Good work, sailor, good eye," but it was entirely accidental. And of course, Frank didn't say, "Oh no, sir, it was an accident." He said, "Oh, well, thank you, sir." He took credit for something that was totally accidental, as I know how to do this better than anybody else. So that's the way we act too. So it's like we're talking about sports. I mean, at least in amateur sports and professional sports, it's different. But in amateur sports, amateur baseball, sometimes hitting a home run is entirely fortuitous and accidental. It's not skill. It's just, hey, it was a lucky shot. And anybody who does that in amateur sports, everybody comes up and congratulates them. Their tendency is to, well, thanks, yes. It's not Sayonara. I didn't know what I was doing, so it was purely an accident. No one wants to admit to that when something good happens like that. But that's part of seeing yourself and how others see you. And returning to this theme of generosity, I mean, this is generosity and the response to generosity, which is gratitude. These are highly valued in Jodo Shinshu, and especially gratitude. Gratitude is sort of the basis, I would say, sort of the kind of the emotional basis, if you will, of Jodo Shinshu, because Amida Buddha has transferred his merit to us so that we will become Buddhas as well. And Amida Buddha, as Emily Korea has so brilliantly said so many years ago, has my back. And that knowledge of the Buddha having your back, the response to that is gratitude. I am grateful to be beside of the Buddha and to know that Amida Buddha, this inconceivable force of good, has me in his regard. So, I mean, I'm speaking purely for myself. Other people might feel differently about it, but that's how I feel about it. So I feel very fortunate that I encountered Shin Buddhism when I did, and that it has sustained me for all of these years. I'm getting pretty well on in years, and I'm talking about decade after decade, and it's really enriched my life. So, and I hope it's made me a better person. But anyway, that's my talk for today, which is, by the way, a Kanwa, which is the talk by a layman, and it's not authoritative. But anyway, thanks for listening. So we will close with Russia. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Richard.